Hi, it's Kristina. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leaders progressing into exceptional leaders. And today, what I want to talk about is burnout and the signs that go along with burnout. As a leader, do you know when members of your team are burning out, or have you completely missed those signs? And the first tip or sign when you see a member on your team would be the lack of motivation. So if you've had members on your team that have been always so excited, engaged, and all of a sudden there seems to be a shift. They're not as motivated anymore. They're like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't really matter, and nothing ever changes. These are comments that you as a leader should be high alert and potentially going into a deeper explore. The second one would be fatigue. If you notice that there's members on your team that are extremely tired, they're there super late and super early, or they're just always plugging away, doing more and more and more, but they're tired. You can tell their energy level has gone down from what they typically are like. So when you think about your team, think about when they're optimal, and if you start to see a decline in their overall energy, again, that's another sign that you should probably be watching a little bit closer, doing some more investigative conversations as to, hey, the check-in comments, like, are you okay? The next one is that if there's members on your team, or even if you catch yourself doing this, if you start going into a negative whirlwind where there's negative comments being made, people are getting a little bit snippy, always complaining about the work that's being put forth, not necessarily agreeing with things, but not being productive in how they're communicating, that to me is a sign that someone could be on the verge of burnout. And when that starts to happen, that needs to be addressed immediately, because it has a bigger impact to those around you on your team, and it actually has an impact to you. And it makes others around them feel pretty uncomfortable. You know, if you think about an example where a work project might come down and then you hear the comments like, oh, we never appreciated, this is never good enough, all those kind of things, nip that in the butt right away. The next one is communication. Their communication might not be as clear and as efficient. You might get more explosive behavior, right? Snapping back, or it could go the other extreme where they're just shutting down and they don't say anything. So when you're starting to see a change in their behavior, how they're communicating, are they becoming a little more short and abrupt? Are they not caring and how they're showing up? That is also a sign to look into a little bit deeper. Do they demonstrate that they're liking their job, or is it a drag to be there? And if it is, then that's something for you to have a further conversation as their leader to really see, like, how can we do this better? What seems to be holding you back? Simply be that they could be overwhelmed and they could be not liking what they're doing, they're bored, but that is a deeper conversation that needs to happen. Again, if you're not addressing potential burnout on your team, it can have a real negative impact on everybody. And also the last one is efficiencies. And if there's more errors than usual, they're less efficient, they're not really focused, that's usually a sign that they could be a little bit overwhelmed, on the verge of burnout. So these 6 signs are here for us to talk about today, because there is an obligation when we have people in our space that we have to care, right? This is back to empathy, care. Like, are you taking the time to really see your people and see when they might be struggling or when there might be a need for a deeper conversation? And when we do that, that is what goes a long way. And you can avoid a lot of issues. So if this resonates with you, subscribe, because I will definitely be sharing more tips and tricks about getting back to your best self, and also progressing to that level of leadership where you have a balance of logic and empathy.